Hello everyone and welcome back to the conclusion of the Summit 3 America Qualifier Phase Number 1. We just saw earlier the Void Boys pull out a bit of an upset as they took down Team Tinker and are going to be our first team to qualify into Phase Number 2. But we got one more slot to fill. And in the finals here, we're going to have Pain Gaming taking on Boreal Esports.
Yeah, it should be an interesting matchup. Boreal, the team that we don't know as much about, 747, a.k.a. Susie, their star player. We saw them look pretty good yesterday. Pain Gaming, they looked pretty solid as well. It was a 2-1 series. So, I don't know, maybe they struggled a little bit more in that earlier round, but all these teams feel pretty evenly matched. So, who knows what's going to happen this go-around. The bets seem pretty even as well.
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty much on the same page. We don't know what to expect. We don't know a lot about these teams. I mean, Pain Gaming's been around the block for quite a while, formerly being Swaggin Tiger, then CMB, and now Pain. They have synergy there, but Boreal are a team we don't know a lot about, and they've already pulled out a bit of an upset, taking down the Monip squad.
Yeah.
So they got some talent. Let's see if they can do it here and make their way into Phase Number 2. Let's go ahead and hop into the draft at hand. And what happened?
This is what happens.
Okay.
You mute us instead of hitting the button to turn off the lights. That's what you did. You just see buttons and you...
Hey, there's a lot of button here I could be hitting, but at least this time you got
So that's exactly what happened. This time I was looking, I was like, all right, I want to see what happened. How? Because I got a tweet from someone said, as soon as you got in the draft, that's when you guys got muted.
That's
and
what it was.
There's no automated way for that to happen.
Listen, all right, in my defense, there is a serious checklist of buttons and things you gotta switch through to do this bullshit. It ain't like my little New York City studio where I could just click, and we go. Here it's like, ding number 1, unmute here, roll hype video, turn down music, unmute mic, cut to camera, turn lights on, do camera bit, turn lights off. And then don't touch the mic button anymore. Okay, so now we know I'm the problem, all right? I've already figured it was me at some point.
Now I just know I have to pay attention with the rule or slap your hand when you go for the mute button at the wrong side. Be my co-pilot.
I can't take this plane off by myself. I need you by my side, holding my hand on the big old stick.
I'll be your deadhead. I got you.
All right, fair enough. See, and the last thing I gotta do is unmute Dota 2. There. Okay.
All right, we're ready to rock and roll. Shadow Fiend, Earthshaker, the opener for Pain Gaming. Bat Rider, Venge for Boreal. We've seen this combo quite a bit. You get your Bat Rider, a little initiation. You block the Venge pick. Kapow.
Yeah.
Right to the kisser, you get yourself a swap. Nice defensive swaps. I like this opener from Boreal.
I want... Oh, and you know what? Pain Gaming, they've been doing the research. I was going to immediately say, I want the Queen of Pain run-back game that we saw from 747, but they banned it out. That's a respect ban right there. Pain Gaming, though, when they're not playing, they're watching from the sidelines. They want to know who their competition is. And, well, they've been doing the research. It could pay off, but... We'll have to see what else 747 has up his sleeves as far as mid-lane game. Ideal setups, potentially against Shadow Fiend. We could still see like a Templar Assassin, though she typically does her best work on Dire's side. Still a formidable grab and something we don't see from a lot of these teams.
I was about to suggest Lena as a possibility, but there you go. Banned out straight away. Pain Gaming doing a lot of homework coming into this game. Viper, still an option. Another hero that does very well against the Shadow Fiend. Depending on how much Boreal... prioritize shutting down the Shadow Fiend, rather grabbing something in their own comfort zone. But there's the Raptor, old Disruptor, very good against both Venge and Bat Rider, anyone who can close a short distance very quickly.
Yeah.
Nice
I mean, it still feels like Disruptor is one of those niche picks where you just need it against like a Wisp or against like a Tinker we saw, against a Storm Spirit, someone, or an Ember Spirit, people you could just shut down with that static storm and prevent them from kind of really going crazy. Here it doesn't feel like that's necessary, but maybe they just have a strong support player who likes to play Disruptor. I know teams like Leviathan, when they used to have Sunken on the squad, shoutouts to Sunken, this guy's a top tier support, you guys better look out for him. He plays a pretty mean Disruptor. And, well, maybe they just kind of have the same thing going. But good call, my man. Viper is going to be picked up on Boreal Esports to contest the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane. Boom!
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Sometimes you dunk them, sometimes you whiff them. Today we're getting a series of slam dunks. Feeling good. Beastmaster, the 4th pick for Pain Gaming. Probably their off laner. They'll put the Swagger Feed mid. So looking at that safe lane farmer. We'll see what Pain Gaming have up their sleeve. And now Drow Ranger for Boreal.
Typically one of those drawbacks to having a Viper is you're just looking to have him as a lane dominator, and then from there on out he just kind of takes a beating and kind of dishes out little bits of slow and little bits of return damage. But when you put a Drow on his team, then he can become a real good late game core right clicker. And that's what we like to see. And he works good as a front line to help out. And with already 4 committed picks on the side of Pain Gaming and a not not a lot of ways to really close the gap. They're in good, comfortable position here for this Drow. And, well, they still have an option for a secondary support. May I see a Visage? We possibly could.
Yeah, I think if you're pain gaming here, you take the safe bet, and yeah, you ban the Visage. That feels like obvious bait to me from Boreal. I don't think any drafter in their right mind goes into a 4th pick Drow without a Visage and thinks, yeah, they're not going to ban that out. We're definitely getting Drow Visage with these last 2 picks. So you kind of force the hand of your opposition. They have to take out the obvious combo, but could be what you wanted all along. They'll have that luxury final 10th pick, so we'll see what they have up their sleeve. They ban out the Slark. Very smart choice. So elusive against the Bat Rider and the Drow Ranger. I don't think they'd want to tango with
I
him.
remember now, and I'm going back a couple of pages here when we were talking about Disruptor. I'm like, oh, maybe they got a formidable player. It's King RD. King RD played that Disruptor, remember? And he got so much crazy farm. He got a Yules early, and then a good time Agnum Scepter. It's King RD. He's a player, and he can play Disruptor. He used to be their core player. He used to be the late game, but now he's playing the support and getting the job done there. But that's a PL, ladies and gentlemen. That is a PL.
This is the new PL. This is the big Papa with the big Stoppa.
Yeah.
You
see like Fear, excited. You see Banana Slam Jamma sometimes roll in the rotation quite a bit. He's just not the same hero he used to be. It's not about the rat. It's not about the serious leukemia cancer of having to split down those side lanes. This is a fighter. Or at least he wants to be a fighter. As soon as he gets that Diffusal Blade, then he's ready to really get it rolling. And hey, with that Phantom Lance and with that Doppel Jumpy Disjoint Walk, whatever the hell it is.
All right, we're going to have to get your head on straight here. It is Spirit Lance.
Okay.
Doppelganger and Phantom Rush.
Okay.
Those are the 3 we got to keep. Doppelganger. Yeah.
What used to be Doppel Walk.
Yes, and Spirit Lance is still Spirit Lance.
Yeah, I know. Well, he can use the Doppelganger ability to get closer to Drow, and it spawns out the illusion, so she's kind of like, whoa,
it's very chaotic. Yeah, it's hard to tell which is the real PA right when he comes, or PL rather, right when he comes out of his Doppelganger. Now, he's in a weird state right now. As Gods has been saying, I don't know that he's really slated for that hard carry role like he used to be. Off lane seems to be something that he could probably do pretty well, but we'll see how it works out. I have yet to actually cast a PL game since he's been in Captain's mode, so this will be exciting for yours truly.
Oh yeah, I was remote co-casting with Blaze when he was picked up. He was played earlier in this qualifier by the Summoner's Rift.
Oh, okay.
Because they have Banana Slam Jamma, and in their second game, which they did ultimately lose, he played PL there, and unfortunately, they just had gotten so much out of the game, did Void Boys at that point, that PL, there was just no coming back. But Ogre is going to be the last support pick, just kind of more of that front line, that meat guy to kind of soak in the damage, keep attention away from the Drow. He doesn't really benefit a lot from the Drow aura himself, but at least he gets a little bit of extra oomph.
All right. The big boy Ogre, the final pick here. Now, all right, pause already. For Boreal Esports, one thing that could be an issue for them is 747 on the Viper. We talked about the lane dominance that Viper can bring out over the Shadow Fiend, but this is their star player. As we saw yesterday, they like to play this 4 protect 1 kind of. They'll create a lot of space for him. He is their big playmaker. And a hero like Viper is pretty low skill cap. There's only so many big plays you can make on this hero relative to someone like a Shadow Fiend or a Quap or a Lina to really control the game. And
yeah.
We'll see how it works for him.
It's not a crowd-pleasing hero, all right? Nobody likes Viper unless you're like Mott or something.
Unless you're Mott, I don't mind seeing Viper.
It's okay, but he's not flashy, he's not exciting, he's just like blah, 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 and he gets the kills, and ooh, Viper Strike, which is just pretty much my auto-attack, blah, 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 but you know what? The better part of it is knowing when you can take control of the lane, when it is the right time to advance forward, when it's the right time to make early picks and maybe call out for rotations. There's a lot that goes on behind just this boring, flying, ugly freak.
Oh, yeah. It's not just the boring nature of Viper, but it's... I mean, I don't know of too many games where a team's been really far behind, then all of a sudden this Viper has really farmed it out, and it's like, oh my god, the skill shots from Viper! They turned it around! It's a 5-hero RP! That was
all Viper!
He's not that kind of hero. He can control the game, he's good at getting momentum, good at keeping that momentum, and stopping the other team from getting it. But if you fall behind, he's not really that recovery hero, and that's where we saw 747 really shine the other day, on like Lina, for example. Once he gets that Yule's Scepter, he just starts cruising around, he gets a Shadow Blade, and flips that switch, goes from, I'm a little bit passive to your whole team is dead and you're not really sure what happened. You can't quite do that on Viper. Maybe he'll go for Shadow Blade. That could be fun.
They probably just put more value that they need this Viper to go against the Shadow Fiend. I mean, Shadow Fiend could just be a problem in the lane itself, and there's just only so many options you have to really take it back to him. And Sniper was not an option being banned out. So, like, going from there, it's like you could either roll back and get, like, what, maybe an OD, a Razor, a Viper. Of those choices, you know, Viper's the one that's kind of now in style, I guess, if you want to say. So he's one of the options they fall back on. So it may not fit the play style of 747, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing with the hero, and we expect big things from him. But without further ado, let's lead off some introductions here. I'll lead off your Radiant side. It's Boreal Esports, the team that upset the Merlini stack, the Moni Beret squad, and now they're looking to push on forward. A win here from either team, they get the qualifier spot. It's going to be Will Ease. We still debate whether it's Will Easy or Will Ease or Will A's. But he's playing Batrider. And next to him, we got 747 or Susie. He's going to be playing that Viper like we talked about. Chuan or Juan, he's going to be playing your Vengeful Spirit. Apologies, this is, you know, newer teams. We're still trying to learn a lot more about them as they play. Tiburon's going to be playing your Drow, and that will leave Mr. Dewey, who's going to be playing your support, Ogre McGee.
All right, Dive side, we've got Paying Gaming, South American champions here. Tavo will take the Beastmaster into the off lane. Baga, he'll be here on the Earthshaker, rotating down bottom himself. In the mid lane, it's HFN on the Shadow Fiend. We saw him play it yesterday. He'll do it once again. King RD sticking to what he knows as well. Takes Helm on the Disruptor, and here's the fun one. 4DR going to the safe lane on the PL. Fresh off some new changes in Captain's Mode. Excited to see how the new Doppelganger works out for the Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, being able to have that quick reaction with the Doppelganger, you could turn anything around. We've even seen lassos get choked up on just by quick, brief jumps, and it's probably something they're going to look out for. Not going to be an easy target to isolate if you're a Batrider, but certainly can get done. And plus King RD, we saw he just seems to always be able to land those static storms on his Disruptor. He knows what he's doing. So these are comfortable picks, it feels like right now for Pain. Yeah. Boreal is nothing to sleep on. And Merlini stack learned that the hard way. Because right now they're going to go with a 2-1-2 kind of get up right now. It looks like Drow's going to have free roam to work with, but Tavo should be able to find XP. He's happy to get close enough, and with the Boar, he can get some early and easy CS in.
So they'll have the Earthshaker in the jungle stacking up. Baga will be playing the really hard support position 5 here. Like you mentioned, King RD, he should be able to get huge farm just in general. That seems to be his style, and they give him some pretty decent farm priority. We'll see if he goes for the Yule Scepter this go-around. Maybe just rushes the Ags. Time will tell. Of course, some of it will depend on the momentum here in these lanes. HFN getting harassed pretty hard by the Viper in the mid, but gets through that initial struggle, gets those first few last hits, already up to 5 souls to buff up that damage.
Top lane, King RD trying to zone back Willies. He did go with the level 1 into Thunder Strike to kind of try to keep him back, but it's only one support, and they don't have magic wands quite yet, so he can feel pretty free to kind of put out the sticky pretty often without having to give them too many charges to fall back on. Bottom lane, though, we're going to see a bit of a man fight here. Dewey and Tavo happy to go toe-to-toe, but with that Boar, the numbers are in favor for Pain, and he's going to be able to easily harass him and keep him back.
Two big boys going at it. Two notoriously high effective HP heroes early on. Huge HP pulls and pretty decent armor. But it will be Tavo that heads down to the bottom rune. 2 minutes. He grabs himself a bounty. And up top, King RD keeps this regen rune safe. And we'll see if the Shadow Fiend goes for it. I reckon not. I don't think he has his bottle out yet. So.
It's on route, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, there he goes.
Oh, no, maybe now it's boots. Now he's got to walk it back and not get the boots instead or sell it or something. I'm not too sure. But he has a regen after expending a raise to kind of harass the neutral camp. He will be able to get all that sweet mana back. So things relatively quiet for now. No early rotations coming out from either team yet.
Ooh. Back to the mid, though. Look at 747. Saw HFN go for that rune, completely zoning him out here. Is this a first blood attempt? He's going to dive the tower. It is Viper shutting down the Shadow Fiend completely. It was an even farm fest, but Susie getting the better of it, and now he gets a nice bit of bonus gold to his name. What a great start.
You call out a bit of excitement for a Viper, and that's what I'm talking about. In the right hands, you just know when it's the time that you can dominate and take control. And 747 or Susie shows that he knows when it's the right time. Takes complete advantage of Shadow Fiend, and he has nothing he can do.
Yep. So how are the offlaners doing? Batrider, 6 CS, almost level 3, doing okay. Tavo already well into level 3. Not too many CS to his name, but they are pushing into this tower pretty quickly. They've got the 2 auras to work with. Well, they will. No point in Vengeful Aura yet, but they should be able to knock down towers pretty easily here. Group up. The team fight presence will be real for this Radiant side.
Yeah, double aura, man.
Yeah. Tiburon as well as 4DR's PL farming very evenly for now. Be very interested to see how 4DR builds the PL this game. You mentioned the Diffusal, a tried and true classic on the PL. I reckon that'll come out sooner rather than later, but where does he go from that? Will we see pretty similar builds to what we saw in the past? Could a Radiance be in his future? Does he rush a Heart, Butterfly? A lot of different ways you can take this hero.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I mean, after getting your essentials, usually like an Aquila, maybe some drums, the treads, you get that diffusal, and then some of them fall back either towards maybe a heart, maybe a butterfly. At that point, it gets a bit situational as far as what you put more value into and how many fights you're actually taking. It's just my wager. Tiburon's going to shoot down the bird. Hunting season down here for this Drow Ranger. He pockets a little bit of extra side change right there, but Tavo's still very, very close to the lane. Now reaching level 5 at 4 minutes in. That's pretty good for your off laner. And with a CS, 6 and 2. It's just not too shabby right now. And Beastmaster's going to be happy to get that ultimate online sooner than later.
Yeah, him and Batrider both. Now he's pulled ahead in this race as Batrider moves to the jungle. A little slow going for now, but he's got a double stack at the hard camp and finds some alpha wolves to deal with. Mid lane.
Mid lane, they get a nice block with that fissure. Now set up kinetic field, thunder strike. HFN will not get the kill. It's going to be picked up there from the team, I guess. Yeah, a little bit of participation from your creeps, and they share the gold amongst everyone, but a successful gank, one that Shadow Fiend did desperately need, because at that point, 747 with that first blood just had so much control. Yeah,
HFN now recovered, and the courier bringing out his bottle, so he'll be able to regen up and get back up to an acceptable level of HP as Viper comes back to the lane here. So Viper will be going for the early mech, it looks like. Headdress already in the inventory. We've seen this build quite a bit. No other natural mech carrier this game. So, seems to synergize well with the general strategy they're going for. I reckon grouping up, knocking down towers will be on the horizon for Boreal.
Nice set of wave here to work with. Gets some side farm in the jungle. That Earthshaker did stack up earlier in the game. And that allows some mid lane farm here for Tavo to reach his level 6. And, well, that will leave no one on the bottom. So your Drow Ranger is going to be able to get some early access to farm. We'll see if she goes more that glass cannon kind of a road. Maybe picks up a couple of Wraith bands. But for here, holds on. Probably going to go with the Aquila to lead things in. Mask of Madness, she's wearing it as a cosmetic. I just feel it kind of suits in this kind of a game if you want to dish out as much damage as possible and start taking some early objectives.
Yep. So a pretty quiet early game. Everyone happy, just tuckered in, getting their farm going on here. Both supports generally staying on their side of the map, aside from that rotation we saw mid. Tavo moving around, looking for XP. Anywhere he can find it just to get that level 6. Halfway there through the level 5 mark. The Dire safe lane, they're starting to move into this tower. 4DR poking at it with this PL. He has his Aquila, and it looks like he will be going for the drums. Could be a casual bracer, but we'll see where 4DR ends up with it.
Looks like Tavo's going to head his way back bottom as a free lane to work with. I'm surprised how long it's taken him to get the close between level 5 and level 6. He's had to muscle his way through bottom, then to mid, then back bottom again to get there.
Yeah.
But it's a dirty job, I suppose. Someone's got to get it done. Dewey's going to shift himself towards the top lane where they're kind of getting free will on some early damage of this tier 1 tower. And up to this point, there really hasn't been any contention. Look who's behind him, though. King RD drops down the kinetic field and Thunderstrike. 4DR trying to turn the corner to get in there, but might second guess it. Gets hit with a stun, and, well...
Dewey's just too tanky.
Yeah, Ogre's just a big boy. You gotta remember, even with recent nerfs, he still has such high base armor, 7, and that HP regen is ridiculous as well. Put on top of that his big health pool, and he is not an easy support to take down.
Yeah, I don't think that fissure did damage either. It was right next to him, but I don't think it actually hit him. Bottom lane, Tavo could be in some trouble here. Frost Arrow is coming out there, leveled up. Level 3, he's slowed into oblivion. Juan rotates in. Magic Missile is all they need to set it up. It's an easy kill on the Beastmaster. TP in from the Earthshaker. Fissure a little too late.
Yeah, he should have recognized right off the bat, once the first Ice Arrow connected, that they were going to make a push onto him. And maybe just the slow communication, or maybe no eyes on bottom from Baga. But if he got there a little bit sooner, it could have been a close save. Can't say for sure if it would have been good or not, but a long-range Fissure certainly could have been used a little bit sooner. So... now Drow gets a bit more out of this bottom lane. Willis is doing some jungle farming here on his Batrider. He is very close to that Blink Dagger. Baga's going to be in trouble, though.
Dead.
This is like that slow and painful death you hate as a support. Please, Roche, do me the favor. No! He goes down, and it's going to be 7-4-7.
Yeah.
Just like we talked about, it's not exciting, but he gets the kill.
Ah, it's fun. He's level 8. He's closing in on his mech, about 200 gold short. Before that kill, this mid lane was an even slugfest. The Viper and the Shadow Fiend both taking an early tumble. Their CS was very close to one another. Viper trades in some CS to secure a kill there, and HFN moves into the jungle to continue taking down stacks. So, still fairly even, but it is Susie. 7-4-7. That is starting to pull into the lead here. Yeah, this mech is coming out very fast. Will Shadow Fiend go for a mech here? I haven't seen what he wants to invest in yet. Probably be the Yules or the mech, one or the other.
No one else on the team probably going to get a mech if he doesn't, so I have to consider how much value they have on staying alive, but maybe he needs the Blink Yules to close that gap between himself and getting a hold of Drow. The Yules also very useful against Batrider when he tries to get his jump in with Lasso. So I could see it working out both ways. It just depends maybe how comfortable he is with using the Yules kind of setup and timing, or just what his playmaker or captain is going to be asking him to do.
Well, here we go. Willez, 9 minutes in on the Batrider, gets himself a Blink Dagger, finds his Lasso, also buys a Smoke, and he's ready to go hunting. They also got the Deny on the top tier 1 tower, which has fallen. Ogre got the last hit there. I think, no, it was the Batrider, rather, pardon me. So he's ready to start fighting. Tiburon level 8 on the Dro Ranger, and 3 points now on the Marksman Aura. They're ready to fight. Morbid Mask here in the inventory. I think that Mask of Madness got to be around the corner, Dakota. See a line on the map going up the mid, but unfortunately for Boreal, there is no Shadow Fiend to be found. He's back at the base filling up that bottle, and it looks like Yules is where he'll go.
Okay. I like the Yules setup. Like I said, there's definitely a lot of options for him to get the best out of that Yules, whether it's setting up offensively or defensively. And then now see the Shadow Fiend, and they're creeping forward here. There's going to be the jump, and there's the debut of the Blink. How's it going, HFN? You're now going to be in a world of hurt. Easy right clicks to follow. It's 7-4-7. Little Susie, who's going to be picking up the last hit. Bottom lane attention there, though. Stun catching out on Baga. Blasted back with a nice gush coming out from your Drow, and it's going to be Tiburon who will get the last right click.
Batrider, he gets sent back home. Tavo almost dies, pops a healing salve, but now Willez, he's like, thanks for the glimpse back, bro. Now I can find Tavo. Or Kenny, the boar slowing him down. It's the Viper, the bird's flying on in, finds that one auto attack as he gets vision, and that is a dead Beastmaster. A huge fight for Boreal, now 6-1, really pulling into the lead. Almost 3,000 net worth in their favor as they make it happen around the map.
This is an early game stomping right here. Tiburon has had most of anything he could get out of this bottom lane, plus a couple of kills now coming in his pocket. Viper, dominant in the mid lane, gets his first blood, does go down, but bounce back beautifully, gets his mech, quickly has like 1,500 gold thereafter, so finishes off his power treads. Everything is coming online very nicely, and then even their off-lane player, the Batrider, gets his first kill with a Blink Dagger in mid lane, taking down Shadow Fiend. It just seems like they're getting everything they want as they go down that checklist.
Yep, so Drum's up on PL. He now has the Blade of Alacrity, or at least the first one coming on the Courier. Could they be the beginnings of a Yasha? It is, so just a farming tool for him. Maybe that Diffusal could be coming out next, maybe a Manta style. PL is starting to come online. He's farming up to snuff with the leading farmers in Boreal, your Drow Ranger, your Viper. So even though he's been pretty quiet, he's still gotten a lot out of this top lane, where he's still in pretty deep, just farming away. We'll see. The saving grace for Pain Gaming. The support's just so poor right now. And, well, there's saving grace. Caught by a lasso. Stunned up by the Ogre. Pulled into the tower. There's your Doppelganger. He's on the run. He gets swapped back. Juan finds the right one. Viper gets another one up on the scoreboard. And old Susie Q here, 5-1-0, secures a dominating streak.
PL just a little too greedy farming there with possibly too many of Boreal missing from the map. And I like the setup. They start off with the magic missile, which you could argue he should be able to quickly doppelwalk away from that one, but could have been holding it in preserve. But because of that stun setup,
have a cast point on it? It's probably shorter than the missile range.
Oh, yeah, missile you could probably see.
I think it does have a little cast point on it though, so not the easiest thing to disjoint with that way.
Yeah. But because of the stun lockdown, they were able to get the lasso follow-up, and by that point, he had nowhere really to go. Yeah. So but even then, the Doppelwalk is not your total get-out-of-jail-free card. You just have to show one AoE, and you'll know which is the illusion and which is the real one. Juan in the jungle, well, just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Primal Roar sets up an easy series of raises, and Shadow Fiend gets a freebie. Yeah, and they'll take whatever freebie they can, because at this point, it's a bit of an extra boost just from the already big advantage that Boreal have. So they get about a 500-600 gold swing just off that support pick alone. HFN farms his way towards mid, and then uses the rest of this efficient haste rune to now farm up the jungle. So they're looking to bounce back here. Pain not rolling over quite yet, even though it looks like a pretty destructive early game coming out from Boreal. Drow now returning to the bottom lane, doesn't complete the Mask of Madness quite yet, has the Yasha on hand, but we'll have it shortly if he decides to go from there. And then Roche becomes a pretty potent option here for Boreal.
Yeah, the Yasha is a great farming tool, of course. You just want to pick up that Morbid Mask for some sustainability in the lane. Maxes out the aura now, closing in on level 11 for that extra bout of marksmanship agility. Looks like Boreal do want to start pressuring this tower in the bottom lane. They've got their double auras up. Yep, that first value point in the Vengeance aura. And man, this baby falls quick. No glyph available. Dro Ranger gets the last hit. Now Dewey finds Baga. A ding-ding 2x multicast on the Fire Blast. Fissure flies through, but off the mark. And Ogre will find the victory in that exchange as he forces the Earthshaker back to the well.
Looking to scout out from the skies. Willie's not going to be seeing anyone over the hillside. But they do scout out a double stack at the Ancient Camp. If they push forward and pressure, they could make a go there. But yeah,
so
he gets grabbed up, kidnapped, pulled away, and Tiburon gets the easy grab right there. And now they move forward. Yep, they get the tower. Vengeance Aura on Vengeful Spirit leveled up now. It's just one level, but that certainly does help a bit of a bonus. Look at this Drow hit. 139 plus 69. That is a lot of frickin' damage. You just got to look at it.
They force out a glyph. Also, smoke rotation from Pain Gaming. Interesting choice to try and defend this tower. Boreal just testing their limits there. Not really interested in committing to a tier 2 this early on. Just trying to force a reaction out of Pain, and they'll be successful at that. Looks like this smoke will be unsuccessful for now, though. They will try to use it to move into the Radiant jungle. How much time do they have left? Oh, plenty of duration. They could actually make it here and possibly find a pickoff. There is a Primal Roar. Tiburon, uh-oh, he's going to walk right near it. The smoke gets broken, though. Can't find the range. Tavo does back up. Meanwhile, in the mid, Viper gets a tower kill.
Yep, easy tower, a lot of tension on bottom, allows Viper to get what he wants. And I talked about how, you know, your Viper typically is one to be more defensive and kind of be able to take an ass beating and just keep on fighting and dishing out the damage. He already established that, grabbing up now his strength power treads, a mechanism, a bottle. Now he's moving forward. Got a Yasha put together. Now you got that plus Drow Aura, and this Viper hits really, really hard on top of being the big defensive tool he typically is and the lane dominator.
Yeah.
Now he's a core in his own right. And if he gets like together a Manta style, then things get very good.
2 on the Radiant, 1 on the Dire. Dro will go for the Sanj and Yasha. Sanj completed now, so skipping that Mask of Madness altogether, at least for now. Just wants to get some HP, go for some nice combative items for this stage of the game. They'll move into the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. They did clear out that tier 1 mid, so the glyph is refreshed. And we'll see how Pain Gaming choose to react here. Looks like they'll just group up in the mid lane. They won't glyph it. They'll let the tier 2 fall. Glyph comes out for the tier 1 mid. Now Boreal prepare to make a defense. Can they get in? Maybe they can close for a deny. It's HFN that gets caught by the lasso, but Willez glimpsed back. Now the swap onto HFN. He gets blown up. Vengeful Spirit will go down. Tower falls to Tavo. But a great trade for Boreal. 1 for 1, handing over only a support for a core. Baga almost dies. That one last auto attack doesn't go off.
And plus Ogre, that damn change to Fire Blast range reduced. Almost got close enough to cancel the TP, but it was just on the cusp, unfortunately. Damn you, Ice Frog! Would have got it otherwise, but a narrow escape for Earthshaker. But still, it's Boreal who get the best out of it. They can't get an easy, uncontested tier 1 like they did. And, oh, Battle Rider.
Alright, little love tap there from the Boar. Gets slowed down, Fireflies over the tree line. Meanwhile, in the top lane, PL still getting a huge amount of space, just farming up to his little heart's content. Pressuring that tier 2. Will now move into a Vladimir's offering to go with this Yasha. Getting a lot of combative items here, but still not particularly scary. Boreal seem okay to let him play with his toy cars there in the top lane while they clear out the other lanes, tier 1 and tier 2 towers.
We made the call out in the draft that PL nowadays is more of a fighter, but 40R's been playing him more like the split pusher that he's been for quite a while. Has good items built up, but hasn't really been getting involved in any of these skirmishes.
King RD!
But mid lane, yep, King RD, big glimpse back, Tiburon, very low. There's the glimpse, catches her back into a raise. Drow gushes back, but it's not going to be enough. They get their kill, and 40R gets it. So after the call out of not getting involved, there he does. Here we go. Requiem on the follow-up. Locks him in place with Kinetic Field. Static Storm also going to be dropped. Mech going to be used, but Susie will go down. Now it's 40R, and there's Dewey. Glimpse back again. King RD gets a nice 2 for there, and 2 good setups. The biggest fight Pain have had all game. Certainly something they were reaching for, and they finally grab it.
They get a huge net worth gain out of that, about 2,400. Glancing at the graph, that levels out this game quite a bit more. Boreal just getting a bit too comfortable having that PL in the top lane, winning this game 5v4. PL shows up, and they just weren't ready for it. They were looking for a quick pick onto that Disruptor. Drill Ranger not ready for all those rotations, and they get punished quite hard. Nice plays from Pain all around, though, and now they'll clear out their Ancient stack as well. 40R getting a little bit scary. If he wants Manta, he's closing on it.
Just funny. We make the call out for 40R and questioning when is he going to decide to get involved with the fight, and it's a few seconds later. And with his appearance and debut into these engagements, he's able to help his team secure a bit of a comeback right here. And now they look towards bottom lane where Tier 1 still stands. You already have Susie and Schwan here on scene, but the rest of Boreal are nearby. Scouting out the Roche currently is going to be Dewey. He sees it's up and at the ready here. But nearby, Pain Gaming do wait. PL currently working with the Ancient stack, and now Willie's in the skies. They seem to have vision, but immediately doppelbangs himself up to the high ground.
Did you say doppelbang?
He doppelbanged himself up there.
Dire side, they've got a ward right here. So they saw that Bat Rider coming from a mile away. But look at this Roche. They don't have vision in the pit. Medallion makes it easy. Falls so fast.
Wow.
Dro will be the one to pick up the Aegis of the Immortal. They may lose a Tier 2 tower in exchange. HFN on the Shadow Fiend forces out a glyph in the top. Alright, he will back up, but wow. Little pocket Roche there from Boreal. That happened in like the blink of an eye.
Nah, that was so fast. I don't even think Roche was ready for that one.
Yeah, I guess the Medallion plus a maxed out Howl plus the 2 auras. Yeah, you'd expect it to go down pretty
And she's leveling up the second aura now. Vengeful Spirit now at level 3 with the Vengeance aura. Look at Drow's right-click damage. Look at that tower drop. I didn't even look at it.
Here we go. Lasso on to Tavo. He gets blown up. So split pushing in the top lane. HFN will try to get this Tier 2 tower. They'll let him have it because it looks like Boreal want high ground here. No buyback on the Beastmaster. They'll have to do this without Primal Roar. This will be tough for the Dire side. They don't have a glyph. The flash pushing is real. They need to get in position to make something happen here. Half damage on the Tier 3 tower already. The Tier 2 up top goes down. They're all spread about. Aegis of the Immortal is on the Dro, so Tiburon will be in the front lines right behind Susie. He did go back for that HOD, not the Mask of Madness, but now has a lot of armor. They're going for the melee barracks. They get it here, Dakota. Pain not ready for this fight. Now they focus Susie. Out comes the ultimate from the Ruptor. But force step down. Susie's just fine. Mech keeps him safe. Glimpse back onto the high ground, but that's kind of what he wanted. Now they're ready for this fight to break out. Tiburon goes charging on in. Yule's onto the Shadow Fiend. He'll be okay for now, and they'll get barracks out of this. They need to be careful for the Primal Roar. It's already been used. Now the Viper goes down. 40R, he comes in deep. There's your silence. Dro with the Frost Arrows gets the kill. 1 for 1. Now the barracks will go down. Swap onto the Shadow Fiend. He blinks back. Fissure connects on all 4. Kinetic Field, but there's just no follow-up damage. Wild Axes come cruising in. Get them low, but they will retreat. Great exchange for Boreal. They get what they came for, and they still have the Aegis of the Immortal.
They've already just taken so much. It was a clever play to have Tavo come in from the back door and try to drop down the big Primal War, which did secure the finishing blow on the Viper in the hands of 40R, but by that point it was just too late. Drow is just hitting so freaking hard that it's just...
And fast with that Bloodlust.
Yeah, you get caught in one bad position without being saved or quickly Yules or saved, swapped away, whatever the hell happens, you're dead. It only takes a few pot shots coming out at this point and you're going to be taken care of. Not even the best of armor is going to save you here.
So let's take a look at the net worth tab here. Last hits, not so helpful. 22 minutes in. Looks like Drill Ranger's taken back number 1 on the seat, but wow, PL and Shadow Fiend still both farming very effectively.
There's HFN able to easily clear out, and they feel not as confident at this point, though they even show it here. They continue to split push and just try to find their way. Boreal are more of a death ball kind of a lineup happening now. This is typical Drow gaming happening right here from Boreal, and it's
stack these auras, baby. Maxed out Vengeance aura now.
Look at how big she is in Bloodlust. She is like an angel.
She's on Amazon, dude. Look at this.
Jesus Christ. Look at her go.
I like you go Angel and I go Amazon.
It's just crazy.
Oh my. Oh, you're talking about the Venge. Okay. I was talking about Dro, but still.
Oh, no,
they're both Amazon.
This new Venge set, it's just like glorious.
Yeah, I like the headpiece.
Uh-oh.
Oh, swap.
Immediate swap and lasso.
Baga.
Bit of a miscommunication. Hey,
Okay.
Baga tries to set up a big echo dunk, but they just mech and shake that one off. No problem.
All right.
And now they're down a man. And from the low ground, they're going to do what they did in the mid lane
Tavo's
here.
way out of position, too. He doesn't have a TP. He's also out of mana. He's doing this the old-fashioned way. He's dogging it back to the base. Dakota, they need this Primal Roar. It's off cooldown. Now the buyback from the Shaker, but he doesn't have the dunk. They've already taken half damage on this tier 3 tower. Glyph's already been used. Aegis on Tiburon standing for another minute. This is really scary for Pain Gaming. They'll finally get their Primal Roar in tow, but Tavo, you need that TP, buddy.
He also didn't even have the mana for his ultimate, so he'd have to TP back to the base, heal up, then walk himself in there. But this is the chance. But the hook's already caught on King RD. They take out the Disruptor. No buyback, no Static Storm going to be available here. And they've already lost one set of racks. They lose this set. They might as well just kind of call GG at this point. Tiburon's going to move right
broken.
Up, and they get it. One more right click, it goes down. Rax is exposed, and they go right for the melee. Though the protection's back. No creeps are in the base.
But
Slowly
here they
regen,
come.
but there they are. Yep, and look at the damage. Her and Viper.
HFN
swap back.
Whoa, what a swap. That takes the Requiem into an awkward position. They bring down the Venge. Yule's now on the Shadow Fiend. A lot of low health heroes on Boreal. Down goes the Venge. Susie will go down next, it looks like, but HFN stunned up by the Ogre, brought down off to the side. It's still the great chase to get the Viper. PL finally does it. Now Tiburon's back up. Can they make the space for him to live? 40R with the Doppelganger closing the gap. He gets stunned up now by the Ogre. Boreal trying to make the escape to cut their losses, but they will be punished. Dewey gets brought down. Batrider's the only one that lives as he TP's home. The barracks stay standing for Pain, though they lose the tier 3 tower. It's the hold they needed, and they get about 3,000 worth of net worth going their way.
It was a bit sloppy, but that is the outcome they could have hoped for. They don't lose too much.
Only one buyback used on the Shaker.
Yep, and it's 40R who comes in big, getting those 3 kills there at the end especially. Now sporting a 622 record. He's got 2,500 gold saved up. Looking to itemize to that next level, what he could need to bring this game back. Boreal, they know the Drow potential does falter and fall off at a peaking point into the later game here, but they still have the upper hand. I mean, there's no questioning that. They're up one set of racks. The top racks are exposed. They could wait for everything to come back online and give it another college try to get the job done.
At first, I thought that swap onto the Shadow Fiend from the Venge was really well placed, but she brought him into the low ground, and instead of having him do the Requiem like up here, he ended up doing it down here, and I think it actually increased the damage that he did by hitting more heroes.
Yeah, it's really hard to say in the heat of the moment like that, but it definitely caught everyone off guard, including the Shadow Fiend himself, and then it could force the team like Boreal to be like, okay, we swapped back Shadow Fiend. Are we focusing him now? Are we focusing the racks?
Yeah, well, he was also BKB'd too, so he's a tough target to focus when he's channeling Requiem.
So it felt a bit awkward because the swap came at the same time Willies wanted to jump in and get a lasso, so it just might have been a miscommunication. They're trying to communicate right now. Top lane 40R. Flame Break will stop the TP, and they get a hold of him. Lasso back in the right click, only coming out now from the Vengeful Spirit, but Drow does show up. Another swap, and well, it's going to be 40R going down. Big grab. He does have buyback gold available, but Boreal, if they wanted to be able to make sure they can hold and secure a promising victory here, that's a big grab to get.
Yeah, if he has to buy back here, that's his defusal money. He's got 2 Blades of Alacrity, about 1,000 gold saved up. It may be a necessity, but this is tough. Look at Dewey already in the base. Get some wards down to make sure they have vision of this high ground siege. Clearing out the creep wave, trying to get the creeps in here as quickly as possible to go straight for the barracks. Dire still don't have a glyph. PL will buy back. Now, how do Boreal handle this? Do they go for it or do they back up? Viper focusing the melee barracks, pops the Manta, and they reset a little here. Bat has his BOTs. He went back to the base, picked up the Maelstrom for the Viper, and hands it over to him. Acting as the global courier here for Susie.
Okay. With Rax exposed, this comes down to where they need to focus. If they're going to look to grab someone, take them out from the base, and get rid of them first and foremost, or if they're just going to make a good old hurrah.
Also, BKB's been completed on Tiburon's Drow Ranger. That's 10 seconds of magic immunity here. A great way to debut it when you're trying to siege the high ground.
They drop a ward and it gets taken care of immediately, so you can see the lack of vision from the outside. They only see the Viper there for now, so they don't know where this Batrider could be trying to fly in.
Radiant have great intel on what's going on here. Fissure kind of break things up a little bit. Susie just poking at the ranged barracks. A general stalemate here. Pain holding on well for now. No one really farming as Susie continues just to get the sheer damage in on those ranged barracks.
Very timid stuff from both sides.
They go for King RD again. Lasso off to the side. Here we go. The fight breaks out. Vengeful Spirit gets blown up as they swap Tiburon back. The Static Storm still comes out. Tiburon in a very awkward position dies through the BKB. It's a 1 for 2, and it's about to get a lot worse. Viper now caught inside of the Yules. That's a slam dunk from Baga. Pain make the hold. It's a 3 for 1. And Boreal's efforts completely backfire here. They do minimal damage to the structures. And they get punished hard.
Man, Drow just couldn't get anything off. She was just like running and stuck in a rut, literally. Dewey in the same position right now as he's going to get caught out here? And swarmed. Oh. Tavo does end up going down, but Dewey, it's a slow and painful death. He swatted on the back right there.
I guess the one victory for Boreal is they force a buyback onto PL. That is the one thing that has gone their way in that last fight. Okay, they kill the Beastmaster too. They're down one lane of barracks. Their strategy obviously is to end this game sooner rather than later, but I just think they need the Aegis to do it. Pain getting a stroke of bad luck. It's a very long Roche respawn, still a minute and a half till it comes up, and they could have taken the Aegis off that, but instead they'll have to wait.
Very unfortunate RNG timing for them if that would have been one of the biggest extra comeback tools in this game, but by the time it is going to be spawned, Boreal will be all back and at the ready to consider a contention, and they have a Batrider on their side, so nothing will be coming easy. But hey, that's back-to-back solid defenses from Pain Gaming. They do get a lot out of it, even though they had to expend that buyback. Diffusal's actually complete now on 4DR, and he can just continue to farm it on up. Drow was just caught in such an awkward position there, and they just really took advantage of her. She was not able to sit back and just kind of unleash her right-click fury. It was just the swarm. As the Static Storm was just dropped on her head, and 40R just got right up in her face.
It's a pretty big misplay to focus King RD with your lasso and not kill him fast enough so that he still gets a Static Storm off. That was the big fail for Boreal in that last fight. The whole point of focusing King RD is so he can't ulti, and that's exactly what happened there. Now, Roche will be the point of contention. Invisibility rune on the Shadow Fiend. He sees a ward come down from Dewey. He pings it out. Radiant won't get any intel for now. There you go. They see the Disruptor walk on by. Roche isn't even up yet. Still a few seconds to go. Both teams prioritizing Roshan quite a bit here. Yeah, and there's a gem picked up by the Ogre.
They know it's hopping up any second. Pain need this to make sure they can secure a comeback path into this game. Boreal need this to help secure an easy road to a Game 1 victory, but that road is no longer easy. It started as a dominating performance from Boreal, pushing themselves well into the base and clearing out the mid lane setup. But at this point, Pain have shown that they have solid high ground defense and a Phantom Lancer that can contest any late game.
Even with that buyback, he's now completed his Diffusal. No money for buyback. I think it's still stuck on cooldown, yeah, for another 2.5 minutes or so. So that is a big item. Ups his damage a lot, of course, his utility as well. Willez going for some counter ward action, but could be in trouble here. They initiate on him. Now the Drow Ranger comes in. Yules onto the Shadow Fiend. And the fight will reset. Glimpse,
but there was a good defensive swap to keep him out of range, but HFM moves forward. BKB pops out the Requiem, and it just decimates the Batrider. Static Storm going to be dropped. 40R rushes on in and gets a double kill immediately. Then the
Boreal.
Viper... Boreal are going down. Pain Gaming are coming right back into this with a triple kill
Boreal.
on 40R. This game is now spread right back open, and in fact, Pain Gaming are going to be taking control. This is going to be a Roche follow-up, and Pain Gaming are just...
Oh, Dakota.
They're ahead now. They're well out and ahead.
It's turning into a Game of Throws. A huge net worth exchange there. Pain Gaming also getting Roche #2. They'll secure the Aegis. The Drow just didn't do anything in that fight. She started poking Shadow Fiend. He BKB, got down to about a 3rd HP, Requiemed. They used the Primal Roar on Drow, and she just evaporated at the same time the Batrider did. The Requiem just did too much damage there. They have nothing to deal with the BKB on Shadow Fiend. Once he pops it, he's basically able to do whatever he wants. And now, I'm not sure how Boreal turned this around. The gold graph is zeroed out, but it's a 14,000 experience lead for the Dire side. PL... So just hit E for a second here. PL and Shadow Fiend, both level 19. The next highest is Dro at 15.
My E's not.
Oh, no. All right, your hero levels, you crazy hotkey bastard. There you go. Just look at.
I see
soak that in there.
I see it. I see some 19s up there, but then where's everyone else?
Those are the big dogs.
Way down in 15 land. How's it feel not even being legal? Oh, man. Pain Gaming A lot of adversity here as they see a troubling start to this game. You're talking about a dominant mid lane Viper. What was it? Bottom lane, Drow got a couple of pickoffs there. Batrider got a quick blink dagger, got a couple of picks with it. It was Pain Gaming with their backs against the wall, but they have just shot themselves away from the wall, and they are crashing through Boreal Esports.
Yeah, and now they're hard carries. The PL, the Shadow Fiend are looking damn scary. Shadow Fiend has a completed Eye of Scotty, still hanging on to that Aegis, and the PL, 2,700 gold. Hasn't invested in anything yet, but he is at that critical mass point where it's only big items from here on out. This is where you dump that Aquila, start looking towards a butterfly, really buff up those illusions. Now King RD, he's online. That's his first big item. That's an Aghanim Scepter on the Raptor.
That's a huge item. That's not just a big item. That's a huge item. That says, if you're under my cloud, I don't care what you got, even item-wise. Cool BKB you got there. Yeah, it's not going to matter a whole lot, and you are going to be done for. So King RD sets the blanket for destruction that has already been dished out here from Pain's side. No, they definitely are still at a disadvantage as far as objectives go, where they've lost their mid lane in top tier 3. Pain Gaming, though, just need one more fight. Then they start crossing that river, and Boreal have no more answers.
Yeah, Pain Gaming still playing rather defensively with that one lane of barracks down, but one more team fight, and if they take it victorious as they have the last few, I think there's going to be a lot of damage coming to the way of Boreal's structures. Baga, the position 5 Earthshaker, still on Brown Boots Soul Ring, but 1,700 gold. He's closing into the blink. Another tool in the arsenal of Pain that could help them live up to their name and really bring it to this Radiant side. And you can see Boreal playing much more passive than they were 10 minutes ago.
They're just trying to stall out, maybe hope that Pain will consider making something happen with their Aegis on their side, but
short term, you look to stall out the Aegis. You only have to wait another 2 minutes, and that baby will expire. But after that, it's on Boreal. They have to fight. They're not going to win the late game. I mean, this Phantom Lancer is already out-carrying them, and it's just going to get worse. Maybe you look for one more key item on your Dro Ranger if you have something around the corner. She's got 3,400 gold, but I don't know what comes up next for her that's really going to make a difference in these fights. I mean, maybe you break the SNY and go for like a Manta style to at least have that moment of invulnerability and you can reset things a little bit.
I mean, is it crazy to think like a Blink Dagger just to get herself in a better position?
Yeah, I'm thinking mobility.
She just gets jumped on.
Yeah, I think that could actually be really good for her.
It's just so hard as it is for her. This is the period where she just falls off. I mean, there's that dominant mid-game period where you just take whatever you want and there's nothing that the opposing team can do about it to defend because you just take it so quick. But at this point, things turn around. These late-game heroes on Pain Gaming just really blossom into something beautiful, and Boreal just don't have the answer.
Yeah, I mean, the draft for Boreal was pretty straightforward. We knew it right away. This is a mid-game domination lineup. They got the early lane of Barracks. They tried to get the second, and Pain Gaming just barely held on long enough for their carries to start taking over. And now the Phantom Lancer, 4,000 gold in savings. Scarier by the moment. Even HFN at a similar mark with about 3,500 gold. Looks like they'll use this Aegis just to secure safe farm. Only about 50 seconds till it expires. But Pain Gaming pulling further into the lead as you look at the graphs. Things kind of plateaued, maybe slightly in favor of the Dire side. But at this stage, even farm is advantage for the team with better carries.
Yep. And they're just showing it here. 40R probably going to consider going for a heart. Maybe if he wants to get a bit extra durability. And of course, it buffs all of his fancy little clones as well.
They also stole the gem in that last bad team fight. The Beastmaster's been carrying around Dewey's gem. And now he completes his Necro level 3.
The Zookeeper. Checked in, clocked in, ready to go to work. Cleaning up the poop of the enemy team and just...
It's a tough job, dude. Someone's gotta sweep it up. Double boars. Okay, well, this mid-game here as we're getting towards the end of it, really taking a turn for the passive. Pain still being very cautious about their base and shambles. Look at this ranged Barracks. Down to 12 HP in the top. It's getting chipped down. I think that baby's gonna fall pretty soon here, but they're hoping Boreal will do what they've done before and just keep shoving into the base so they can defend the high ground. Boreal's learned their lesson though. Now they're gonna wait for Pain to be the ones to make the move. Yeah, speaking of movement, there's a Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker.
So Aegis doesn't really get used. They stall that one out. I think now they wait, build up some farm after itemizing to get buybacks, because if you look, there's like none at all on Boreal's side.
Maybe they wait for the butterfly on Dro. She's got the Eagle Song now.
Yeah, that too would help. But it's just funny. You could just see in the body language how different it is from go all-out push to, okay, we're not winning these anymore. We got to farm. Let's go back. Let's farm. And let's hope that we now can have a stronger defensive game. But both teams very passive at this point. Both want to be on their own defensive. Don't want to kind of have anyone out too far from home. Got to have that buddy-buddy system in play, because if you get an unnecessary pickoff and you've already committed to a full buyout, and you will not be there to defend your homeland.
Yeah.
And that's where things get ugly.
It sure is. The Dro Ranger in the 3 figures away from that butterfly. Really just half of a quarterstaff at this point. Susie moving around, maybe looking for solo kills, but you've also really seen 747 now that we're getting out of that point where the Viper is really peaked. Still has a presence in these team fights, but just doesn't have that same, doesn't pack that same punch.
And even a BKB is going to be tricky because he has to work pretty close range, because he's got to be taking hits to have the corrosive skid work. His range isn't long enough as it is. Viper Strike, you have to be committed, and you're probably going to get caught under a Static Storm at that point, and then your BKB that you're acquiring right now is not going to be so good. So maybe wagering to get it used before or after any possible Static Storm.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons you get the Aghanim Scepter on Viper, is just to extend the range, aside from the cooldown. Without that upgrade, you have to be basically in auto attack range to use your Viper Strike.
Pain Gaming now working with their ancient stacks, seeing some team farming happening here. I mean, we're probably looking at them stalling out now for the next Roche to get the next Aegis. In this one, they'll look to actually utilize and go to the other side. And now we all have a cheese as well. About a couple of seconds time, we'll get to find out the secondary clock there. The Boreal looking to add pressure towards the top. Nice ward here from Pain Gaming. Sees where the movement's going to be coming from. Yeah. Do they look to interject here? King RD considers heading into the woods to get a bit of extra vision. Maybe they go for a setup themselves.
You've always got to be careful of that hawk that could be lingering nearby around the tree
They're
line.
committing for something.
Oh, 747. Is this a glimpse right here? No. Okay, King RD doesn't go for it.
Will even came.
Oh, he did use the glimpse. Pardon me. He manted it.
Oh, Manta dodged.
Nicely done.
Okay.
I was going to say, why would you not glimpse that Viper? That's a freebie, but well played by the Viper. All right.
That forces Boreal back. They second-guess their commitments on top lane, and we get to find out exactly when Roche is going to be spawning, and it's a small timer. Very small.
Oh, wow. So near instant.
It will be up here shortly. I'm sure there's already a hawk en route. There it is. Get over there. Show me the goods. Show me the Roche. Which team's going to take it?
Willez.
Boreal really need this one at this point. How things have turned around. Last time it was Pain Gaming hoping to get the Roche to have a second life. And now it's Boreal who really needed to try to stay alive.
Yeah. Well, Pain, they haven't actually scouted out Roche yet. The Hawk flew overhead into the Radiant jungle and ended up dying.
I think they dropped a kinetic field, so they did see it thereafter. Yeah, okay. But they're smoked. They're going to go right into Boreal
Woods. Oh, they see the
Woods.
Ogre, too. They've got all that vision. There's your Scotty to set it up. It's going to be a Spirit Bomb onto Dewey. The big bad Ogre goes down. And that's all they needed, just a singleton pick. He doesn't have a buyback, and do they even go for Roche here? Do they look for another pick-off? Oh, PL's already in the... Or, pardon me, Bog is already in the pit. PL also picked up a heart while we were yakking on. So he's gone from that little guy with a stick to that big bad carry that nobody wants to play with.
With a stick.
With a bigger stick.
With a stick. But, yeah, that makes for an easy Roche. They'll have the number advantage, obviously. It's not like Ogre is devastating to lose, and, you know, with the simple Ignite, but then you don't have Bloodlust, but, yeah, it's obviously enough for Pain to feel more comfortable doing it. Boreal continue to find their farms, split push, keep the lanes pressured here at the top, keep Pain back in the base, don't feel comfortable about going across the river towards the Boreal side. Ogre will be back in about 10 seconds time, but now it's on Pain Gaming to decide where this game's going to go from here. They stalled out for quite a while the whole last Aegis phase. They farmed up, but now they get a hold, and they'll be able to take down Vengeful Spirit, it looks like.
Whoa.
Oh, Self-Force almost gets to the high ground.
That was unfortunate. This little boat rock here, or whatever the hell it is, knocking her back down. Now they'll go on to the Dro Ranger, tries to TP out, but there's a Yule's Scepter. Now the BKB's used, but there's an Eye of Scotty already. Bogda gets that big fat ass right in the way and says, look at it, just look at it. Oh, you're dead. You can't look at it anymore. It's a 2-for-0. Pain Gaming getting more pickoffs
man.
and pulling further into the lead.
And that's a minute of no buyback on your Drow with 900 gold needed for said buyback. So desperately Boreal trying to keep pressure on the bottom in other lanes so they can't easily push into the base rather. And I don't think Pain will even make it in time. Even if they kind of blitz to the other side, they'd have to take down possibly a tier 2, as you see both mid and bottom. And top lane's already pushed so far. And Pain are just not going to make anything about it. They take their couple extra picks and they wait to formulate their own game plan on their own time.
This is turning into a very drawn-out game that is going more and more in favor of Pain the longer it goes. Not only because they have the harder carries, but they're just dominating now. Anytime they bump into somebody on Boreal, it's a guaranteed kill for the most part. Boreal running out of options. I mean, Pain respecting the Rat Dota, the potential split push from Boreal. There is a set of BOTs out on the Bat Rider. But I think they're getting to this point where they can actually afford to push out his 5 and just try and start moving towards the base. Really want to make use of this Aegis of the Immortal. Still 3 minutes left. Can't imagine what else PL would be farming for at this point before they want to start fighting.
They just have to do it bit by bit on their timing. And that's pushing out the lanes, getting them across the river towards the Boreal side. And this is when they finally advance forward. With Aegis in tow, they're ready to go. That's what they say, I guess. But 747 up and above on the high ground. Schwann tries to slow them down with a bit of a wave, but this is Pain Gaming now going to the other side. It had been quite a while in this game since we've seen them able to kind of push towers, ever since the split pushing there in the top lane much earlier into the game. Now it's mid lane in trouble. Obviously, this tier 2 is going to be taken down. No defense at all.
They're going to try to push out top Dakota, but I don't think that's going to work. They're just too far away. Pain's already knocking on their high ground, and they are not in position to defend.
You better get back quick. You can hear the TP starting to roll in.
The tier 3 is already dead by the time they get back to the base. Now the glyph comes. This is a tough defense. You got PL in the front lines. Obvious bait with that Aegis of the Immortal. He's damn tanky anyway. Maybe you can lasso him into tier 4s, but I don't know what's really
the follow-up coming after is going to be tough. You got Tava who's able to blink in and set things up with a Primal Roar. Shadow Fiend is there with the Yules. I think Boreal, they don't have the defensive tools to stop this at this point. The game has gotten too out of control, and this PL is just showing it right here. Swarms and easily takes down one structure. Pain Gaming are playing it very disciplined Dota, though. They are just walking back. They're playing it safe. They don't want to get too bloodthirsty, and they want to make sure that it's an important game.
Yeah, they're happy with just melee barracks for now. They will reset things. Maybe they go towards the top, clear out Radiant Ancients here. I think trying to go to the top lane would be good. If they could cut the creep wave and push out from there, they could try and level this game out. No, they'll stay focused in the mid lane, really trying to bait with 40R. Aegis now down to about a minute 10 until it expires. There's your Doppelganger. Plenty of PLs to be made. Should be the end of the ranged barracks here.
Yep, Rax will go down. The first Rax takedown for Pain this game evens things up as far as structures go somewhat. Willies, though, gets the call onto Lasso, gets it onto HFN, pulls him back, and that'll be the self-heals. Primal Roll going to be dished out even on Drow. Drow going to be saved and swapped back, but PL continues to hunt her down. Gush will keep him back. She's trying to keep the images off, but back and behind. Static Storm going to be dropped, and Drow's going to be taken care of. The follow-through coming out with the glimpse setup, and Drow will be out. A minute, no buyback. Pain take their win, walk away, probably soon to return and do more punishment inside the Boreal Fort.
Yeah, they will back off here. They want to push back the wave that'll come into their melee barracks at the top lane. Shadow Fiend going down does hurt. Big kill for Viper. Huge net worth swing for him personally. But still bad news for Boreal. This game that they had a huge advantage in is now a pretty big advantage for Pain. Nearly 10,000 net worth. And they are only one ranged barracks ahead for the most part. Sure, they've got a tier 2 standing in the bottom lane, but that'll be easy enough for Pain to deal with.
All right, Boreal, this is your time. Let's see if they can make anything out of it. Shadow Fiend's down. Going to be up in time before any sort of contention is going to come, but I'm curious if they're going to try to get a hold of this PL in the top. Willies is already flying en route, maybe just scouting out and dewarding anything that could be in the nearby jungle. Will not catch anything. As far as vision goes, there's just not a lot of it. There's one bird out here for Pain Gaming on top of the ward cliff, and then one ward right over here. And for the side of Boreal, they don't really have a lot themselves either. So not a lot of map to control.
Yeah. King RD picks up a Blink Dagger, still holding on to the cheese. Baga grabs a Force Staff on his Shaker, so getting those mobility tools up. Looking for the big dunks. feel like Boreal are basically in Hail Mary mode at this point, though.
Yeah. They felt a bit of potential there, being able to take down the Shadow Fiend. But I don't know if that's going to be enough.
No, I don't think so.
Stun. Willies is caught out. He's going to be taken care of now. Easy kill. Easy right click.
He is just way too close to the danger zone, and that's a gem down. It's actually on the high ground. Baga 4 stabs up to try and snatch up. The courier comes flying in and grabs it from him. Well, that is unfortunate for the Bat Rider, and say goodbye to what little map control you thought you had. Boreal Esports. MKB out on the Viper. He's starting to hit hard, but I don't know if that's enough. Is there a butterfly? No, it's just a preemptive MKB. Pretty classic item on both the PL and the SF, but no evasion yet on the Dire side. Instead, SF has gone more armor base. He's gone for Assault Kuros to help the team as well as help siege these structures.
Time to finally take down that tier 2 bottom lane, says 40R, and they will grab it with relative ease. Now looking to pressure this bottom lane. Boreal going to be tested once more on their high ground defense. Just game number 1. But no glyph in hand. Bat Rider forced to buy back now. They're not looking to let up quite yet.
They might just back off with that Bat Rider buyback. That came very early. I think it was a necessity. They would have definitely tried to siege, but that's easy win for Pain Gaming.
Pain is so disciplined this game. Just not looking to really
They're not rocking
push the page. Yeah, they just want to get what they want securely and leave. And if they want to stall out till the Roche pops up, then so be it. They're just 2 wins away in their eyes from making it to the next stage.
Now they smoke up as 5, moving through the Roche pit near the Dire Ancients, looking to catch someone, but Pain, they're very suspicious here. They're grouped up as 5 as well. They move to their high ground. They see everyone missing off the map and go, a little suspicious. Willez comes in. Here you go. Lasso to get it started, but the Fissure helps break it up. Another Static Storm down right in the middle of the fray. Tiburon doing big damage. Shadow Fiend uses the defensive Yules. BKB channels the Requiem, does a little bit of damage, but now Tiburon goes running in without a BKB. That's not the play. He gets taken out. Now Susie squares up against HFN. The dunk brings him down. The Raptor gets a double kill, but it's a 4-0. The Shadow Fiend stays standing, and Boreal get cleaned up. No buybacks across the lot of them. That could have been the GG play right there as BOT has come to the bottom lane.
Yeah, that was the Hail Mary you were talking about. They pumped it. They went way back. They chucked it out there, and it went right over their hands, and they did not catch it. And that's all it took. Pain Gaming.
The fumble at the 50-minute mark.
But you know what? Props to Pain Gaming. They put up a strong defense. They are down, and they are hit hard in the early game. But eventually, they find their way and their opportunity to crawl back into this one. They withstand that Drow storm that had been coming their way.
Yeah. Very nicely done by Pain. That's one of those games that at the end looked very easy and one-sided, but getting to that point was a little bit difficult. They barely held on. They lost 1 lane of barracks very early on, and that second lane was pretty close to falling. Tier 3 tower went down. The ranged barracks ended up going down as well. If there was better execution from Boreal, maybe if that Drill Ranger stayed in the back a little more in those key team fights, that could have been a much different game.
Could have, would have, should have. I'm sure that's how Boreal feeling right now, but this time they got to look to formulate something different, maybe put the Drow on the side and put something that worked out, because it's not working right now. Pain Gaming now, match point for them. Just 1 more win to get to phase 2.
You know, you look at 7-4-7 Susie, into that game 7-7 and 7 on the Viper, how appropriate. 5 7s across the lot there. He dominated the Shadow Fiend mid, had that early first blood, there were some kills back and forth, really helped slow down HFN, but then you get to that mid-late game and he couldn't do anything.
They won 1 big fight, which is the rubber band just fucking blowing up, and they got all of that gold, and PL's like, that's it, I'm ready to go. And then it was time for him to fight after being very patient at the start, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. So with that, we'll see if they can stop him. Pain Gaming, if they can stop him in game number 2, but we'll have that coming up in just a moment. I'm KotLGuy, that's Zyori, we're Beyond the Summit, and we'll be back with more Dota action in just a bit.